these are some of the best habits that we've seen over the years. And we kind of break them down into three categories. Number one is business planning. We should all be setting annual goals, if not 3-year goals, for sure annual goals. And an area that we've helped our entrepreneurs is this idea of embracing a monthly planning day. We call it a Simplify Day, really to help simplify your life. And I'm going to go through some examples of what that means. The next component of this is dealing with HR and compliance review. Are you up to date on the new rules, wage and hour related? Is your employee manual up to date, right? So we're going to go through those issues and help you really take charge of this year. And then tax planning. A lot of times especially because we're in February right now, people are thinking about last year and trying to get their books wrapped up. But we really look at this start of the year as let's get prepared for this year. Let's be proactive in what this looks like for the year that we're in. Yeah, we got to deal with the compliance from last year, but it's a mistake to wait till the end of the year to try to do planning. We really view tax planning as an ongoing thing that should be happening throughout the year. So those are like 4 key areas that we're going to run through to really help you set up some good habits as a business owner. So let's just go through a couple of these items. So what's a planning day? So I'm not going to read all these slides. The beauty of having Brian here today is we actually get to have a dialogue. But the reality is most business owners, entrepreneurs are not dedicating the time to properly plan, to properly be proactive, areas where they can make strategic decisions. And we know how hard it is to multitask and bounce between ideas. We're not that effective if we're trying to juggle too many balls at one time. So the whole idea of doing a planning day is taking 1 day per month out of the office, away from all the distractions, a lot of times away from email, away from your phone, turning things off and really focus on planning strategic areas that you need to focus on to improve your business. And one of the things that we find when you do that, because you're doing it on a monthly basis, it helps you achieve your goals at a higher rate because you're paying attention, you're reviewing them every month, and it reduces your stress load because the things that too often you kind of push off, you're like, I'll get to that later. It really helps you refocus and say, hey, no, this is a priority. I wrote it down. This is one of my goals. And then it gives you a full day to really focus on that. And so embracing this idea of a planning day is really important. And I have a quote, we are in Los Angeles. I have a quote from John Wooden is, don't mistake activity with achievement. And I think too often we get busy and, we kind of like, it's almost like a badge of honor. I'm really busy. And this whole idea of a planning day is to kind of get out of that hurried environment and just create some space, some white space for you to work on really important strategic planning areas of your life and in your business. And so I know I have a note on here that says annual tax savings. Like, how can I get annual tax savings if I do a planning day? Well, I'm going to share that as we go a little bit later in our webinar today, but it's pretty significant, some of the planning ideas that we have where you can embrace this planning day. So hopefully this makes sense. And I know, Brian, we talked before, you said, hey, I made a couple notes on this. I'm going to try to actually start putting this into my structure.
I love it. Well, and the old saying is those who fail to plan to fail. And I love the fact that you're already being so proactive and doing this on a monthly basis. I know many businesses that don't even do this on an annualized basis. So I'd love to see how this plays out for your clients and for mine.
Yeah, so one of the things, I have a kind of a sample day. Now, everybody should create their own, whatever works for them. I know I'm more of a morning person, so I try to get my day going even earlier than this. I usually will start these days in more of the 5 o'clock hour, kind of getting going because I'm fresh. But one of the things that I have found by actually embracing this planning day mentality and doing this every month is really trying to identify 3 issues. So you can see this is kind of a setup for your morning activity, which does involve some movement, exercise, eating, things that kind of nourish your brain and keep you going and healthy. But then as you get into some of the heavier work, identify 3 issues, have like 2-hour time blocks where you can actually dig into things and make an impact. And so again, everyone should structure this differently on what works for them. But if you don't have this built into the way you work currently, then try this as a template. And then, if you're using this, report back, let us know how this is going for you, because we think that embracing this, we've gotten feedback from business owners that have embraced this, and it's really made an impact on not only their business life, but their personal life. So as we wrap up this section here, one of the things I know oftentimes it's hard to get in the right mindset to maybe change some of our habits. And if you haven't read Atomic Habits, it's a great way to kickstart, get kind of the juices flowing, get you thinking about these things. And James Clear really lays it out, gives you phenomenal examples. You can also subscribe to I think he does like a weekly email.
Podcast, yeah.
Yeah, I know it says monthly on there, but I feel like I get a lot of communication from him. So this is a great resource for business owners that are saying, "Hey, I know I need to do these things, but I'm having a challenge changing my habits." This is a great resource to really kick things off.